Greetings from South Korea. I am Adang, Arirang News AI anchor. Here is the news making headlines today. The Bank of Korea has announced that its benchmark interest rate will remain at 2.5%. Thursday's decision came at the first Monetary Policy Board meeting chaired by the newly appointed Governor Shin Hyun-song, and marks the central bank's eighth straight rate freeze since May last year. The central bank said it will decide the timing of future rate hikes after assessing inflation pressures, the economy and financial stability. The decision was backed by 5 of the 7 board members, while 2, including the senior deputy governor, favored a quarter-point hike to 2.75%. The central bank also raised its growth outlook for this year to 2.6%, up from the previous 2%. President Lee Jae-myung has called for a thorough investigation into the recent fatal overpass collapse in the construction of an underground transportation complex in the capital. Speaking at a weekly meeting with his aides on Thursday, Lee pointed out cases where safety has been overlooked due to cost issues. He urged the authorities to look into the incidents to find out whether they occurred due to similar reasons. He noted the gravity of the matter and urged for the need to hold those responsible strictly to account. This week, the collapse of the overpass in Seoul killed 3 people, while controversy has been recently raised over a report that found reinforcement bars were largely missing from the construction of the GTXA Samsung Station Transfer Center. The Culture Ministry now says Korea's cultural industry could grow to 400 trillion won, or around $265 billion by 2030. Culture Minister Chu Young unveiled the new target Thursday during a press conference marking the first anniversary of the current administration. The previous goal had been 300 trillion won, but the ministry says the industry's economic footprint had long been underestimated. Under the broader definition, the ministry revised the industry's trade estimate sharply upward, from $35 billion to $110 billion. The adjusted figure for 2025 alone now stands at more than $71 billion, placing the sector among Korea's top 3 export industries alongside semiconductors and automobiles. Early voting for Korea's June 3rd local elections and parliamentary by-elections begins Friday and will continue for 2 days nationwide. Eligible voters can cast their ballots at any early voting station across the country regardless of where they are registered, with polling stations operating from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. The National Election Commission says polling station locations can be checked on its website and major online portal sites. Voters must bring a valid photo ID showing their date of birth, including a resident registration card, passport, or driver's license. Officials also noted that screenshots or saved images of mobile IDs will not be accepted, and voters must open the official app on site for verification. Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson accused Washington of repeatedly violating the ceasefire. Tehran says U.S. committed gross ceasefire violation, vows necessary measures. Iran also warned it was ready to take all necessary measures under the UN Charter to defend its territory and sovereignty. The U.S. military, however, argues that American forces shot down 4 Iranian suicide drones near the strait, after they allegedly posed a threat to commercial vessels and U.S. personnel. The military then struck an Iranian ground control station near Bandar Abbas Airport, saying that the strike was an act of self-defense. That is all from me today. Thank you for watching.